is Pino. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I play the tenor saxophone. I'm the leader of a well-known group in New York City called the No Net Nonet. And I'm an artist on outside in music. I took a detour before I got to New York. I met famous jazz pianist son, Dave Brubeck's son, Chris Brubeck, and he guided my path towards the Brubeck Institute in California. I think every young jazz musician has it in their head to make it to New York at some point. I was no exception. You hear all kinds of stories that you, when you're young, you kind of want to investigate what that's about. And even aside from that, I feel like just the sheer quantity of musicians that are present here now dictate for a very competitive environment, which facilitates some of the most amazing music being produced. It's like survival of the fittest for jazz music, and it produces some really outrageous characters and produces some really outrageous musical identities, and I love that. I adore playing with Nick Finzer's band. We've been longtime partners. Been playing with this awesome Dutch pianist named Jorn Swart, and I've been playing bass clarinet in his trio, which is kind of like a chamber jazz trio. That's been super challenging, but so gratifying. He's an amazing composer. Just all kinds of people. Arco Edie, Sandoval, the Sonic Asylum band. I've had a lot of joy playing with that. And recently I got to play for the first time with my wife, Roxy Koss, in that band. First small group where we got called together after 5 years or something we've been married. It's pretty incredible. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. I'm having so much fun. I play as a sideman in so many groups, and I think that for one, I've learned over time that my discomfort is temporary. If I can just put myself in places that are difficult, challenging, maybe don't cast me in the best light as an artist, those are fleeting feelings. They'll be gone before I know it. And then the joy of being able to participate, contribute, help someone else reach their artistic vision, it keeps me challenged. It keeps me engaged always. It's like someone is working on something. And I think that's part of the difficulty in our continuing process as artists, is that we get comfortable with what we're able to do, and then before we know it, we're sick of it. And so we've caught ourselves between the two desired positions, which is the joy within the music and the accomplishment in music, and the working. We are having none of those because we're sick of ourselves, and we have atrophied. We can't put ourselves into a place where we feel uncomfortable, where we feel challenged, because it hurts our ego too much, or we've become weak. So I don't know, I like playing other people's music. It keeps me engaged, and if I can continue to remind myself that part of the process is feeling uncomfortable or feeling a little bit down about my ability, that those things will pass, and then I will get to experience that, the party of having succeeded. No Net Nonet was an idea that I had when I was going to school in California. I started kind of assembling a lineup in my head. I said, well, if I'm going to play with all my Brubeck cats, that's going to be that's 5 of us. And I definitely want Corey King. I definitely want Ben Van Gelder. I definitely want Peter Schlam. So it started to become a thing. And I remember we had a rehearsal. And it was octet at the time with vibraphone and no baritone. And I really was just displeased with the sound. So I kind of tore up the charts that I had written, and I went back, I added a baritone saxophone, and when we came back to do the rehearsal, the sound was right. It was more balanced. In the end, the people that I wanted to play with, that I ended up playing with, were the ones who had all of the functional expertise. They had that, but they were setting out already on, the idea of identity and purposeful change. Like, I'm not going to do what has been done before in these ways. I'm going this way. One thing that I think has had a huge impact on our development as a band is having a residency at the famous Smalls Jazz Club down in the Village in New York City. When you have a band that can get together and play every month of that size, then you get to work on all of the real minutiae of the sound. The audience is so diverse. Like, there's usually a lot of tourists, but there's also the New York scene. There's like the cats that are hanging in the back, and you have to play to like across the country, across the globe, but also like this person is an expert in the thing that I do. It's all simultaneously. It's beautiful. It's an amazing audience. The answer is no. Is my most proud record to date. I love the way it sounds. I was so happy to release it with Outside In Music. Was afforded the ability for a lot of flexibility in how we presented it to people. I love the answer is no, primarily because it feels like, to me, like one gesture. It feels like an evolution of maybe like some type of song or something over the entire record. It's not too long or anything like that, and really gives everybody a chance to demonstrate who they are as individuals. Kind of still in love with it. I don't know if that's super narcissistic, but if it is, then I subscribe to my own narcissism.